Hello, everyone. Welcome into this Friday episode of Nightly Scroll. I'm so excited that you're here. Yes, I see you all in the chat saying we're a minute late. We're 2 minutes late. Yes, we were chit-chatting. Yes, but we also have a very, very special guest here on the show today. This is, I scroll with the homies here in the live chat, and I love my long scrolls on my phone at night. The show is literally called Nightly Scroll. My screen time has reached astronomical levels like this day. This was, I think it was March 12th, where my screen time reached 23 hours and 55 minutes. I have the proof here. Yep, Wednesday, March 12th. So that's just like a little taste of how much I love my phone and how much I love scrolling on TikTok. Although I do think that day there had to be a glitch of some sort. I am on my phone quite a bit, but not that much. I do sleep, okay? But I do it to get all of the videos and all of the content that you won't find anywhere else. TikTok is my preferred platform to scroll on. And the future of TikTok hangs in the balance. There are very valid national security concerns with the app owned by ByteDance, a Chinese company. Legislation to ban TikTok went into effect in late January. The app went dark, and a message appeared saying this: "Sorry, TikTok isn't available right now. A law banning TikTok has been enacted in the United States. Unfortunately, that means you can't use TikTok for now. We are fortunate that President Trump has indicated that he will work with us on a solution to reinstate TikTok once he takes office. Please stay tuned." All right. Well, then President Biden and Trump at this point sought to block the divestment, but it all went to the Supreme Court, which upheld the ban. On January 20th, President Trump signed an executive order extending the TikTok ban for 75 days. In that time frame, the Art of the Deal president wanted an American company or entity to have majority control over the app's U.S. operations. Well, the 75 days was up tomorrow, April 5th. And as of this afternoon, President Trump has extended the deadline another 75 days. Here's what he said on Truth Social earlier today. "My administration has been working hard on a deal to save TikTok, and we have made tremendous progress. The deal requires more work to ensure all necessary approvals are signed, which is why I'm signing an executive order to keep TikTok up and running for an additional 75 days. We hope to continue working good faith with China, who I understand are not very happy about the reciprocal tariffs." He went on to say, "We do not want TikTok to go dark, and we look forward to working with TikTok and China to close the deal." So President Trump has made his stance very clear. He wants to save TikTok, and my next guest thinks he's the man for the job. Wyoming billionaire Reed Reisner joins me on this episode of Night. Reed Reisner, welcome to Nightly Scroll. Thank you so much for joining me. I know you're a very busy man. You've got business dealings to do right now.
Well, it's been a crazy week for us, that's for sure. So very exciting stuff. Another 75 days. We're still in the mix. We're still negotiating a lot of regulatory challenges and negotiations with foreign countries. A company that doesn't really want to sell but has to sell,
right.
In the talks with the administration. So a lot of moving pieces, very complex stuff. The 75 days buys us some extra time, so we're glad to have it, and we certainly need it.
Well, you are a billionaire. You could spend your money on quite a few things, I would imagine. Why spend your money to save TikTok?
We are in the golden age of America, as President Trump put it. This is an American-first movement to bring TikTok to America. Americans built this app. Americans deserve this app. This is a great thing for all of the Americans out there, 170 million of them. All of them who voted for President Trump and sent him to the White House. President Trump realizes who helped get him elected. These are our friends on TikTok, and we want to protect this app, protect free speech, and make sure that we do something very special for America, take them off the back burner and bring them to the front, both at a national level, but also on a global scale. So this is really important to me to make sure we protect free speech and America and Americans.
Well, I can appreciate that. I do think that there's a lot of misconceptions about TikTok. I am on there all the time. I'm obviously not a lunatic on the left, but accounts like Libs of TikTok, I think that it paints this view of TikTok being just an app for left-wing people. It's Chinese censorship, and some of that is true. I mean, that is on the app, but what has been your experience where you've seen small business owners thriving on the app and, of course, conservatives? Why is that so important to you?
Well, the small businesses and creators, the TikTok shop, people actually make a full living using this app and using their social platform. So it's very, very important to them that they have access to these tools to continue to thrive and survive in America and build their businesses. And so when we start to suppress or censor these individuals based off of the content they're creating and their expression of their First Amendment right, we're doing a terrible disservice to our economy and the American consumer when all they're trying to do is advance their small business, advance their creation, their content creations, and truly make something special. So protecting their First Amendment right is very important to me, making sure that they have a place where they can grow their business, grow their following, grow their social influence. These are all very important, and it doesn't matter to me where you fall on the spectrum, left or right. It doesn't matter. The fact of the matter is you have a First Amendment right if you're an American citizen. It's the First Amendment. It's your freedom of speech, and it should be protected for all Americans.
So, as a consumer, as a user on TikTok, I saw this black screen on January 19th, and I thought, oh my gosh, this could be the end. Will it ever come back? And, since the app came back after President Trump's executive order on day one, it was kind of looming over these 75 days. I mean, if for someone who doesn't have the inside scoop, as you are, as being one of the hopeful investors and bidders, for us, it was just, piecemeal headlines every few weeks, like YouTuber Mr. Beast is coming out of the woodwork and maybe he wants to buy TikTok. And even as recently as yesterday, Amazon, Walmart throwing their hat in the ring. Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank has been talking about this for days. So for someone who has no idea what's going on, what has been going on for the last 75 days?
Well, we've been negotiating and submitting our very best offer. We want to bring the Sovereign Wealth Fund to America and establish that for President Trump. And we're going to give 5% of our $50 billion acquisition to the United States government for President Trump to begin the Sovereign Wealth Fund. So there's been a lot of high stakes negotiation, a lot of high level talks. And there's a lot of people that have thrown their name in the ring, and there's going to be a lot more. They're going to flood the market here. It's going to muddy the waters. But we have a very, very strong offer, nearly $50 billion, $47.45 billion. We established a sovereign wealth
I see what you did there.
Yeah. Okay. We established a sovereign wealth fund. We give President Trump a massive win. We protect your First Amendment rights. We're going to protect the data, and we're working with quantum computing companies across America to ensure that your data is safe and it's warehoused in a very safe way that meets our national security standards, and working with regulators, the Congress. And we're meeting with several governors across the country to find out how this footprint is going to affect these economies in these Mountain West states. So there's so many moving pieces. Right. A lot of people are going to put their hat in the ring. We are fully funded as of, what is today, right? As of Wednesday. We got our last and final commitment. So we were so happy to send those off to President Trump to make sure that he knew that we have raised a mountain of cash. And let me tell you what, that was a lot of money to raise. But we are fully funded. We are 100% American owned. And everyone of the partners is a true believer in the American First movement and the MAGA agenda.
Well, that's good to hear. So with all of these people throwing their hat into the ring at the last second, like you said, muddying the waters, is this going to end up being somewhat of a joint effort, or will someone just pick the highest bidder?
Well, we don't know. So we've spoken with ByteDance legal counsel. We've spoken with the administration. President Trump ultimately has the final say on this. So working closely with him is so important, and how this gets doled out, or how this happens is truly does come down to him. Okay. I do know that it has to fit within the confines of the new law and the new regulation passed by Congress that was then upheld by a 9-0 vote in the Supreme Court, which is almost unheard of. But ByteDance has to divest. China has to divest. These things have to happen, and there has to be a clean break of the algorithm. We do know that those three facts exist. ByteDance is allowed to have a minor stake in the company, still in the American company anyway, of 20% or less. So the negotiations are ongoing, and maybe they continue to own 20% or less. We're certainly negotiating and moving this thing forward. As far as all the other offers out there, I have no idea if they're even serious. So I know our offer is serious. We have a lot of money out there that we've raised, and we're ready to move forward into our due diligence period. And President Trump certainly knows that.
So you said that China has to divest. Is there any world in which they say no and then TikTok just shuts down in the United States?
Yeah, I think that could be a possibility. If they say no, we're not going to divest, then TikTok goes away if they're unwilling to negotiate. So, I mean, that's a real possibility. Which thankfully our team is working tirelessly on a backup plan for everybody, so we can get something across the finish line. And it's so important to me to create a technological footprint that breaks away from Silicon Valley, breaks away from these tech conglomerates and these massive big tech companies that have been censoring us for so long. That one way or another, we've raised an astronomical amount of money, and one way or another, we're going to have a platform for all of you to create your content on. We hope it is TikTok, and we're working overtime to get that done.
Well, that definitely would be good news to have an American-owned TikTok. I think a lot of people, conservatives, are concerned about TikTok. They don't want to be on TikTok because of the China aspect. You mentioned that the algorithm would have to be a clean break. That's one of my concerns as a avid user of TikTok. I love the TikTok algorithm. Obviously, that also raises some concerns. How does the algorithm know me so well? So a lot of these like spying accusations and national security threats, I totally understand. However, there isn't an algorithm on a United States-owned platform that rivals TikTok, in my opinion. TikTok, in my opinion, is the people's platform. You don't have to have a blue check mark or be anyone famous to go viral. You could start a platform and you can make a lot of money. I think that's why it's been so popular. So how would the user experience change if an American company does take over?
We're hoping for as little disruption as possible. So what is the algorithm and what are we actually going to get? I mean, this is a question that we've been addressing. So our due diligence period is so important so we can get in and not only value the company because we've made a big offer. So we've got to make sure it's actually worth the $47.45 billion that we've offered and that we've come up with. But we also need to get into the algorithm, take a look at what we're getting, and what we get may not be the exact same thing that they have out there, but we'll find out. We are certainly fighting, and the algorithm is what makes TikTok so special. You can't replicate it. If we could replicate it, it would have already been done. Right. There would already be an American TikTok. The fact is you can't replicate it. The algorithm has to come over with a clean break from China to the U.S., and we can get this done, and there's a way to do it. There can't be a licensing agreement because in the law, there's no room for a licensing agreement or any room for China to continue to have access to that algorithm. So a clean break is fundamental. The Supreme Court and the Congress have both upheld that law and passed that law. So we're going to get a clean break. We're going to get the app. We're going to get it with as little disruptions to all of you as possible. And we're going to continue to enhance the app and the algorithm as we move forward to make sure the user experience is even better than ever. And the algorithm lets you monetize even further. And we're going to profit share in your data. So you give these apps away for your data for free, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, Google, whatever you're doing on your phone.
Right.
You're giving your data away for free. We're going to take it a step further, and we're going to say we're going to use that data because that's going to happen, and that's how we do ad spins. But we're going to profit share that back to you, the individual. So this will actually allow you as an individual to have more money in your pocket through allowing us to use your data, which you're already giving away for free. So you may as well make money off of it.
That's amazing. I'm sure a lot of content creators like the sound of that. I mean, if we're going to give away our data anyway, we might as well make money off of it. You know, I can't even promote my videos on TikTok anymore because I made a video back in the day I said that I didn't like Taylor Swift, and a lot of Taylor Swift fans came for me. And I guess they were, reporting my videos or whatever. I'm not allowed to pay to promote any of my videos on TikTok until 2034.
Oh my.
So
Well,
maybe if an American company comes in here, and I don't know if that's China or what the reasoning is, maybe it was just because my video was reported so many times by angry Swifties. But maybe if an American company comes in, free speech will be upheld and I can talk about how I don't like Taylor Swift freely.
if I own the app, you can talk about how you don't like Taylor Swift. And we'll do an entire podcast together about how we don't like Taylor Swift.
We can come together on that.
She's probably a lovely. I don't know. I don't know her, but I don't listen to her music. So there's that. I'm all for it. We'll let you boost your videos. We'll take whatever restriction they have on you off. I mean, that's absurd.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Well, I've got one more question for you. When Elon Musk took over Twitter, a lot of leftists left the app in protest. So what would you say to someone on the left who might be concerned that their favorite app is going to be owned by a Republican or a Republican company?
See you later. I don't know. They can they can come, they can stay, they can create a new account. They can. I don't. They get to say the things that they want and have a political opinion just like you do, and they don't get to be censored just like you shouldn't be censored. So as long as you're not saying something that's illegal, I can't imagine why their First Amendment right is more important or less important than anyone else's First Amendment right. It's the exact same right. We all have the same right. We just can't say illegal things. So they're just as protected on this app as you are, and you're just as protected as they are. And that's the equality that the First Amendment provides all Americans anyway. So all Americans are protected on that.
Amen. Well, Reed Reisner, best of luck to you. I'm rooting for you. I hope that we can get a deal done and TikTok can be owned by an American company. That would be really, really great. That would be an America First win for President Trump and for all of America. So thank you for what you're doing.
Thank you. And go to founderstalk.com, please. Founderstalk.com. I would greatly appreciate it.
Founderstalk.com. You heard it here first. Thank you, Reed. I appreciate you being here.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. We could have an American-owned app. So I want to ask the chat, if America owns TikTok, the United States operations of TikTok are owned by someone like Reed Reisner, would you join? Would you join the app? Would you quit the protest? Would you do it? Would you join the app if there was no threat of Chinese Communist Party or any of the censorship? Would you get on board? Trying to CCP our First Amendment. Someone said, sweet, hell yeah. Yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, yes. Nope. All right. I think we're split 50-50 in the chat when it comes to the homies. Patriot Talk, maybe if they call it Patriot Talk. Someone says, no, I don't use social media much. Yes, no. F yes. All right. Well, we'll end on F yes. I think that would be really, really cool. It would be cool for free speech. It would be cool to get Americans on TikTok, more Americans. There's already 170 million, so that's pretty cool. So best of luck to Reed, founderstalk.com to get more information and to help him out there with his fight to save the app. All right. Unfortunately, I have some more sad news. The assistant DHS secretary, Tricia McLaughlin, she posted this on X. She told Americans about a very sad story yesterday. A 21-year-old USC student, Nate Baker, was driving a motorcycle when he was hit by a truck driver who fled the scene. The hit-and-run driver was in our country illegally. Obviously, DHS is working to get these people out of the country, but it breaks my heart. He was a junior. Nate Baker was a junior at the University of South Carolina, and Fernandez Cruz hit him. Baker was riding a motorcycle. Cruz hit him speeding. He did not stop or render aid to Baker. He did not report the incident to police, obviously. He's further accused of driving away from the scene and then running away from the vehicle. That's not all. Police officers ended up finding him after he ran away from the vehicle, and he wasn't alone. He had 2 male passengers with him during the collision, and they also ran from the scene. No charges pending against them. But that's 3 people who were involved in the death of this USC student, innocent USC student, all running from the scene, obviously because they're illegal immigrants. But could you imagine killing someone and leaving the scene? And it's like, you got caught anyway. You can't even be a decent human being and render aid. You can't call the police. Now, his fraternity brothers, Nate Baker's fraternity brothers, they said this in a statement. Yesterday, we lost not just a brother, but a leader, a role model, a true embodiment of what our fraternity stands for. They said Nate Baker brought light, laughter, and love into all of our lives. Nate will be remembered for the way he showed up for others and the impact he had on everyone around him. His passion, loyalty, and love for this brotherhood will never be forgotten. May we honor his memory by living by the same kindness, selflessness, and generosity that he showed to everyone around him. I absolutely hate reporting on these stories. Yesterday, I told you about the loss of Austin Metcalf, a high school junior who's supposed to be just taking driver's ed, getting his driver's license, taking his SATs, applying for college. He was stabbed to death by another student over something stupid. An altercation totally avoidable. It reminds me of Laken Riley, the nursing student at University of Georgia, who went for a run at 9 a.m. She was killed by an illegal immigrant, brutally attacked. I'm grateful that things are being done in Congress, the Laken Riley Act. I'm glad that people are telling her story and that her family was represented at the State of the Union, the joint address to Congress that Trump gave. I'm glad that people are aware of the dangers. I'm grateful that these criminals are being caught, but this shouldn't be happening at all. We shouldn't be losing American lives to this. It's all avoidable. And it makes me so angry that on taxpayer dime, migrants were flown into the city of their choice, the sanctuary city or state of their choice. They were given hotel rooms, phones. I don't want my money going to that. I want my money going to every effort to make sure that no one is ever killed the way Laken Riley was and the way that Nate Baker was. This should not happen. Not in this country, not anywhere. And more senseless attacks in the news happening as well. Savannah Craven is an activist working with Live Action. Live Action is a pro-life organization. She was conducting man-on-the-street interviews. She was asking people in New York City, do you know what Planned Parenthood does? And she was attacked. Watch this. You have video 5, guys?
Don't understand the magnitude of having a child. Yeah, well, I'm not the one who admitted they would be okay with killing babies in foster care and killing children that have been abused. That's not the point. What I'm saying.
Having a conversation, asking what Planned Parenthood does, punched in the face. Now, Lila Rose, who heads up Live Action, she tweeted this. This is just a photo of what happened to Savannah. You've got picture. She said Savannah Craven, a pro-life activist working with Live Action, was just assaulted by a pro-abortion supporter in New York City, just asking that simple question. She's in the hospital. Take a look at this. This is what happened to her. Left bloodied, bruised. She has a black eye now. All Savannah was doing was asking people on the left if they knew what Planned Parenthood did. This is the tolerant left. Why make it physical? Why not just articulate your point like an adult? And if you can't, and if you are met with facts that you can't refute, just say, thank you. I didn't know that. I'll look into it. Or, we can agree to disagree. Savannah is extremely brave to try to change hearts and minds on this issue. It is not easy. It's a very emotional topic. It's not black and white. There are a lot of people in this country who are somewhere in the middle. There are the loudest voices on the right and the left, right? These extremes, where we see these pro-choice activists and pro-life activists, and when they meet, something like this happens. It shouldn't happen. This is an issue that you have to work with the other side, explain to them what they don't know. But God is on Savannah's side. She is determined to keep going on this fight. What a prime example of showing strength in the face of evil. Bravo to her. It's just so sad to see, but bravo to President Trump as well and the American people. New job numbers are out today, and they completely exceeded expectations. Experts projected that 140,000 new jobs would be added in March. And guess what? 228,000 jobs were added. Whew! This is what Rapid Response posted on X, posting all the numbers. We've got 459,000 increase in full-time workers, 209,000 increase in private employment, 13,000 increase in construction jobs, 22,900 increase in transportation jobs, 23,700 increase in retail trade jobs, 232,000 increase in the labor force, and this is my favorite part, 4,000 less federal jobs. That's right. That's probably 4,000 less jobs that they were probably doing nothing anyway. So this is the America First agenda taking place. We are seeing promises made, promises kept. Everyone on the left, they're so quick to start crying about, oh, Trump is tanking the economy with the tariffs. The egg prices are still high, and don't look at your 401k. There's a lot of, fear-mongering happening on the left. I posted this on X earlier, but Andrew Yang, who ran for president, I think it was back in 2020, as a Democrat, he's a socialist, he posted, I effing hate these tariffs. They're so effing stupid. He was dropping F-bombs all over the tweet. The left is, I'm not taking economic advice from the left. Certainly not Andrew Yang, who wanted to give all Americans $1,000 of universal basic income per month. Who's paying for that? The taxpayer. I'd rather just keep my money. What do you mean, having the government give everyone $1,000 a month? We would be paying for it anyway. I'd rather pay myself $1,000 a month. I'm not giving it to someone else who's probably doing nothing, incentivizing laziness, people sitting on their butts. What President Trump is doing is incentivizing the opposite. Get up and work. There's opportunity for you. We're removing the illegal immigrants. Here's a job for you. So I'm choosing to trust the process. This is the art of the deal president, as I always say. This is the get-ish-done administration, as I always say. This is things moving in the forward motion, rather than what we saw during the Biden administration, which was, oh, the economy's bad. Inflation is at the highest rate it's ever been. Let's blame Putin. It's Putin's price hike. And then Biden hired all of these influencers to push propaganda for him, gaslighting the American people into thinking that the economy wasn't really that bad. But we were feeling it. We were at the gas pump seeing that number go up. We were at the grocery stores seeing eggs for $8 a carton. We lived that. And now we might be seeing some more short-term pain because of these tariffs. But the beauty of this is that American manufacturing is going to come back here on our soil. That is going to fix this problem that I think a lot of people woke up to during COVID. where we were reliant on other countries for gas and for, whatever else was, toilet paper and PPC, like the masks and all the stuff that China was making. We had to wait for China. And it's like, no, we're not waiting for other countries anymore. We're going to open, hopefully, the Keystone XL pipeline. We're going to make gas, use our gas here and our natural resources here. We're going to make products here. We're going to make cars here again. So this is a step in the right direction. Of course, this jobs report totally exceeded expectations. Experts thought that it was going to be way, way less, and they added 88,000 more jobs than expected. These are the promises that were made to us, and we're seeing them play out, and make into fruition. This is the way. So very good news on the job front today. And now we're going to get into scrolling time. Like doing the Trump dance. It's like a good song to do that too. It's good. We're all doing it in here. There's no music left, but we're still dancing. I love it. This next video that I have for you, it's one of those that if I had to see it, you have to see it too. So here you go.
So what does the prefix trans mean then? If you aren't transitioning into something else, don't trans people have to transition to be trans? I'm glad you asked. Prefix of trans is not short for transition. Trans people do not have to transition to be trans. You can look any way you want to look and use whatever pronouns you want to use to be trans. The only requirement of a trans person to be trans is to not identify as the sex that they were assigned at birth. And that's it. And if a trans person wants to socially transition and or medically transition, that is up to them. Every trans person is different from one another, and it's up to the individual to decide what makes them feel most comfortable in their bodies. But no matter what, we love all our trans friends! Yeah!
I'm laughing at the chat. Can you guys scroll back in the chat? What in the effing F is that? Mental illness on full display. What an ugly fat woman. Wait, scroll back down. 7-Eleven employee sick, OMG, stupid. Yeah, brain transplant, what the F is that? Cringeworthy, so delusional. Yeah, I'm confused. I'm sure a lot of you also in the chat are confused. I'm not really sure, like, what is the purpose of socially transitioning if you're not going to transition? I don't understand wanting to be this androgynous, middle of the road, not female, not male. What purpose? Like, you're transitioning, so I'm assuming this is a woman trying to be a man or transitioning to be a man.
Looks like Jigglypuff to me.
Wouldn't you want to go all the way? Like, why would you half-ass this? Like, if you want to be trans, by all means, do it. Like, if you're an adult and you can consent to it and you want to chop off your genitals and make new ones out of your forearm, be my guest. But why would you want to just do it halfway? I don't get that. I showed a trans person on the show yesterday who said he liked doing his makeup badly because he wanted people to know that he was trans and not fully a woman, which, don't worry, there's nothing that you can do that's going to make people think that you're a woman, but unless you get crazy surgery. But anyway, if I had to see it, you had to see it. Sorry. This next one, I honestly don't know how I'm going to really explain this trend. So I had to text Justin and Mikey yesterday because I didn't even know what contraption this was. But this trend started by someone posting, they're riding what looks like a cherry picker or something. And the caption on the video says, "On my way to the Lickistow." Just like that, Lickistow. So on my way to the Lickistow, and it's just someone riding, what is that, a cherry picker? or like a forklift or something. No, not a forklift. Just know it's a contraption that you don't take to the liquor store, okay? Now, this one video has prompted now other people posting videos of them taking untraditional modes of transportation, if you will. And then they put the caption, "On my way to the liquor store." Like, keeping in what this trendsetter said. So hopefully I did an okay job explaining that. But now the Army, members of the United States Army have hopped on the trend. And this is what it looks like. It says, "On my way to the liquor store." It's some Army guys dangling from a helicopter, and they're on their way. The caption that he put on it was, "We ran out of Ultras." So they ran out of Michelob Ultras. They got to go to the liquor store to get more. And here's the second point of view of that. This is the guys in the Army just dangling from a helicopter on their way to the liquor store. So
I love the music there.
It's a great shanty. Someone commented, this is the perfect shanty for these antics. But yeah, so I asked one of my friends, her husband is in the Army, and I stalked one of these guys who posted on TikTok, and he's in Tennessee, and my friend is in Tennessee. Her husband's at an Army base in Tennessee. So I asked, what is happening here? And he explained to me that this is just a way for them to transport soldiers, but it's easy because they can just like hook on quickly and they just kind of like hang out. And the helicopter doesn't have to land. So it kind of just gets as close to the ground so that the rope can touch the ground, and then the guys will clip onto it, and then they just it's just an easier, faster way for them to
Should we play it again?
get to the liquor store.
Yeah,
Sure.
I like the video.
Yeah, let's play it again. I love it. Could you imagine just like dangling? I wonder how far they go doing that. Like, they can't be traveling too far like that. I love it. Someone says, I live above a liquor store, so you don't have to go travel. You don't have to take a cherry picker or dangle on a rope. Yingling beer is the bomb. I saw someone else in the chat earlier in the show say, I'm ready for the show. I've got my beer. I'm ready for scrolling time. I need to ask if I'm allowed to have like a glass of wine on the air. I feel like that would be way more fun to scroll through stuff if I was just like a little buzzed. I don't know.
Maybe we can make it like a Friday thing.
Yeah, just on Fridays. Because then I can be a little liquored up to blind react to your videos, which we're going to get to in just a bit. I have one more video for you, and then I'll get into the videos that you all sent in. So this one, woo! So everyone says that it's a good idea. Someone says, this is Rumble, why not? Someone said, yeah, let's go. Someone's drinking Fireball. I love that I feel like we're all hanging out, drinking buddies. Yeah, the homies. It's not going to be scrolling with the homies. It's going to be drinking with the homies. Then we can all have a drink together. Put it in a water bottle. We have glasses here. Bongino drank all the time. What'd you say? Oh, yeah. If you're listening to this show on Apple Podcasts or Spotify and you want to watch these videos, you should do that on rumble.com. Rumble.com/Hayley. You can watch the show. You can be part of the live chat at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Or you can watch the video at your leisure, whenever. Video on demand. But I understand a lot of people, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, people are working, especially on Fridays. I appreciate everyone in the live chat on a Friday night. This is a great way to start the weekend, if I do say so myself. But if you want to listen, I understand some people have to listen on their way to work and whatnot. So I don't want you watching and driving, but certainly we can drink and scroll, and maybe we'll start that next week. Okay, one more video for you. It's a cat video. It's a cat video, and it's a kid video too. So if you're not into that kind of thing, you can scroll away. But here we go.
Happy and you know it, say meow. If you're happy and you know it, say meow. If you're happy and you know it, then you really want to. If you're happy and you know it, say meow.
She ended on a good note
Can I
there.
watch it?
I love the singing cat. Isn't that so cute? If you're happy and you know it, say meow. And she just did it. Sometimes my cat will answer me when I talk to her too. All right, now we're going to get into the blind reactions. I have not seen these videos yet. These are sent in from you all, and we have 3 of them, I heard. So hit me with the first one. What does it say? Delivery guy? Uh-oh. Oh!
Nice jump, dude.
He got some air. He said, nice jump, dude. The owner saw it. He was like, uh-oh, my dog's coming out. Let me go save this guy. Look at him go. He got some air. He took the package with him. He didn't even drop the package. That is 10 out of 10 for this delivery driver. I actually feel for delivery drivers. Some dogs, people do not have control over them, and they can be a little scary, like some of the bigger dogs.
Nice jump, dude.
Some of them, their bark
Nice
is
jump,
worse than
dude.
their bite, but you never know. If you're showing up to someone's house, you don't know if their dog is nice or not.
Nice jump, dude.
Wow, nice jump, dude. He's got air. I love that one. All right, hit me with the next one.
Hi, Wisconsin, to all of you. I just
Who
wanted
sent
to
this?
pop by to say thank you. You all are just extraordinary. You love our country. You care. You are making such extraordinary sacrifices on behalf of so many people, on behalf of communities, on behalf of people you may never meet. And I just say thank you. There is an unelected billionaire who should not and will not have a greater voice than the working people of Wisconsin.
I'm Kamala. Wisconsin, I love you. You know who's drinking and scrolling? Kamala Harris. She's guilty of drinking and scrolling and thanking the people of Wisconsin for getting out to vote, apparently. Someone says, speaking of drunk, my ears. Someone said, Nancy Pelosi looks terrible. She also likes to hit the bottle, I think. OMG, I thought this, you know what, flown off into the sunset. Blah, blah, blah. Warn me next time, please. I know, I rolled my eyes. I said, who sent this in? Who sent in Kamala Harris? Wine mom. Yeah, she's like the drunk aunt. She's Auntie Mamala. Drunk Mamala, someone said. Someone said, no tipsy scroll. Oh, I think it would be kind of fun. All right. Last video, and then I'll answer some questions. So I have questions that I posted on my Instagram story, Ask Me Anything, so I'll start with those, and then if you have any questions for me in the chat, I will answer those as well. So have those questions coming. All right, last video. What's happening? There's someone battling a trash can. Is this a kid? Trying to take the trash? Oh! Is that a kid trying to take out the trash? And the trash took him out? Is that what that was?
Yeah, the wind was blowing.
Oh, poor kid. His parents were probably like, do this and you'll get your allowance. And he's like, the trash can took me out. He didn't deserve all that. That was cute. Someone said, is windy. All right, I'm going to my Instagram story. Drop some questions there if you haven't already, or you could drop them in the chat if you're watching in the chat. Someone just said, no questions, just wanted to say the show is great, keep it up. Thank you, I will. Every day, Monday to Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Someone said, where can I get a coffee mug? All 3. We do have, I'm actually drinking coffee out of my, blackout coffee, by the way, out of my early edition with Evita mug, because we're repping all the shows here. So I got my coffee here. And it is so good, by the way. Shameless plug for Blackout Coffee. But we've got mugs here. I don't know if they're available on the website. I'm going to have to check on that because I have gotten some requests for mugs. So I will ask. Maybe we can make them available, order some more. When are they going to release the Epstein list? Great question. I don't know. I think people ask me questions because they think I talk to Deputy FBI Director Dan Bongino all the time. I don't. I have the same access to him as you all do. So I don't know, but he has posted updates on his official X account saying that if you don't see things being done, doesn't mean that they're not being done behind the scenes. So I am trusting that they are working on this. Obviously, the Epstein files are highly sensitive. There's, minors' names and minors who have been assaulted So this is very sensitive material. So I'm assuming that they're doing this in the best way possible. I think after the whole binder debacle, they can't afford to ruin this. And I don't know what is happening with the Southern District of New York, what happened there, holding documents from Attorney General Pam Bondi. I don't really know what's going on there. Like, I will find out probably when you guys find out. So I don't know, but I hope that they release that. It's important for the victims, as long as we make sure that the victims are safe and this is done in a respectable manner. Someone asked, what is something from childhood you wish was still trendy or around today? I'm sad to see, not that I'm sad to see technology evolve, because I think that's very cool, but I think kids having cell phones, kids having iPads is kind of sad. Like the technology that I had Walkmans, I had Tamagotchis, we had like Webkins. It was just very... it was technology, but it wasn't adult technology. It was still kid technology. I feel like kids having iPads and cell phones, it's like, what do you need that for? You're just a kid, So I got my cell phone when I was in 6th grade. I was 12, and it was like bare bones, flip phone, no internet, nothing. All I could do was call my parents, basically. And that was all I needed at 6th grade because I was staying after school for sports and other extracurriculars, so I needed to contact my parents. And I know that there are certain phones now for kids that are, less involved than an iPhone. But I think a lot of kids now, they're kind of spoiled with all the technology, and they're adults and they need to be kids. Let's see. Any tips for dealing with family members who have different viewpoints as you? Be respectful. I think that's really my only advice. I haven't dealt with this too much because most of my family, they're conservative. And if they're not conservative, I still respect them, but we kind of just like agree to disagree. We don't really talk about politics that much. I think when people have made up their minds, it's hard to change their minds. I mean, I could talk for a liberal, until the cows come home. They're not going to turn me into a liberal, So, at some point with certain people, you can maybe change their mind on an issue or two. Maybe you can, fact check them, maybe. But I think a lot of people know where they stand at this point, especially if they're an adult. Some people change their minds. And I think it's worth a try, but it's not worth losing the relationship over. I think if you upset someone to the point where they don't want to be your friend anymore, or they don't want to be, invited to Easter anymore, or Christmas or whatever it is, then I think you have to put the politics aside and realize that we love each other regardless. I've lost friends because I'm conservative, and I'm outwardly conservative, obviously, and people don't want to be in my life because of that. And it's very sad because I'm the same. I didn't change at all. I am who I am. I've had these same viewpoints since I was in high school and in college, and that's when we were friends. And then all of a sudden, I start working at Fox News, or I'm working at Newsmax, or I have this show, and maybe people don't want to be involved in that, or they don't want to be associated with it. I have to respect them, but I do think it's really sad. And I've told a lot of my friends who are liberal, and we just agree to disagree. There's plenty of things to talk about other than politics. I don't have to agree with people on everything. I don't want to be surrounded by an echo chamber. I like having different people in my life, and I value them, and I value them as friends. And we can go to the movies or go to dinner, and we don't have to talk about politics. This is my job, but it's not my full personality. I can separate from it. So I've told all of my friends, if there's something that I say that bothers you, or you get to the point where you don't want to be my friend anymore, certainly come to me first. Don't just like end the friendship or ghost me because of politics. That's stupid. And I would hope that my friendships are stronger than just politics. So that's my answer on that. Quit the politics stuff and just do normal talk like you did in the question and answer, please. Okay. Someone asked me what my favorite home-cooked meal is, like a meal that reminds me of home, and it's definitely chicken parm. Chicken parmesan is like, oh, so good. I love chicken parm. I miss Italian food. I miss it so much, especially when I moved to Nashville. Nashville's attempt at pizza and bagels, it was like a hate crime. And Andy's from Tennessee, so maybe this is offensive, but they try to do Italian food. Like someone will come and they'll make a bagel store, or they'll try, not that bagels are Italian, but like New York food. They'll come and open an Italian restaurant or a pizza shop, and it's like New York style pizza, and it's not. So they definitely do it best. I've only had pizza once here since moving to Florida. It was okay, but I have to find some good spots. So I'm on the hunt for that. Someone asked me about the drones. Someone said, what were all the drones in New Jersey looking for? Did they find it? Where did they all go? And I do like ending the show on a conspiracy theory topic. I don't know what the drones were looking for. I don't believe the government, though. That is all I'm going to say. The Biden administration said they're no big deal. They tried to gaslight the American people. People were saying, hey, I have this video of this drone or something that I can't explain, this UFO. And the Biden administration literally put out a statement saying, you're seeing stars. They said, I think it's stars in the sky and you're misinterpreting it. Like, no, we're not stupid. And then the Trump administration, Trump came into office, and then Caroline Leavitt said something along the lines of the same thing that the Biden administration was saying, that, they weren't looking for radioactive material. This is, government aircrafts, military aircrafts. They're nothing crazy, nothing extraterrestrial. I don't buy it. I don't know. And like to this person's point, where did they all go? Don't know. Why did they just leave? I haven't seen any more videos of it. It's crazy. Someone asked me in the chat, if you guys could show me some of the questions in the chat that are good that I missed, but someone asked me, have I played more golf out in the back? There's a mini golf, there's like a putting green rather in the back, and I did go out there once. I got locked outside. So I have to remember to not close the door behind me if I want to come back in and host the show. So I was out there for a while, but my short game still stinks. So I think on that note, I'm going to leave you. We're almost an hour here. Thank you all for joining me, especially to everyone in the live chat on this Friday evening. Have a great weekend, and I will be back on Monday. More Trump dance.